If you have been paying close attention to the recent episodes, you know exactly what I am talking about. The writers are laying down breadcrumbs, and they are leading straight into a nightmare. We all know that Charlotte has been through absolute hell lately. From the trauma of the operative sent by Ross attempting to kidnap her, to the devastating realization that her father, Valentine, was hiding out at Carly's house for months before fleeing to Geneva. Her entire world has been destabilized. But instead of seeking help, Charlotte is internalizing all of that pain. And that is where things become incredibly interesting and, frankly, incredibly dangerous. Let us isolate the biggest clue that is staring us right in the face: Charlotte's growing obsession and her undeniable jealousy. Have you noticed the way she looks at Gio and Emma? Emma and Gio have been enjoying their fun in the sun at the pool, sharing sweet moments and discussing Gio's promising musical future after his successful performance with Trina. They are happy, carefree, and building a genuine connection. But hovering on the periphery of that happiness is Charlotte. Every time she witnesses Gio and Emma together, you can literally see the resentment radiating from her. It is not just typical teenage jealousy, it is something far more sinister. This brings us to the core of the issue. Charlotte carries the blood of one of the most ruthless, calculating, and dangerous families in soap opera history. We are talking about the legacy of Helena, of Victor, of Stavros, and yes, even the dark side of Valentin. Her family is notorious for doing whatever it takes to get exactly what they want, regardless of the collateral damage. For years, we have watched Charlotte battle these inner demons. We saw it when she was manipulated by Victor, when she stalked Anna, and when she dabbled in the dark arts with her tarot cards. She has always had a darkness inside her that she has tried to suppress. But if you ask me, that suppression is about to end. Let us start connecting the dots here, guys. If this growing jealousy is real, and if Charlotte is truly feeling abandoned by everyone else in her life, it explains so much about her current psychological state. Lulu is furious with her for keeping Valentine's secrets. Valentine is gone, facing potential imprisonment or risking his life in Geneva. Danny is busy dealing with Jason returning and Scout bringing her own teenage drama. Charlotte is completely isolated. In her mind, Gio might represent the only light left in her life, the only person she desperately wants to hold on to. But Emma is standing in her way. If you think about it, this perfectly explains why Charlotte's behavior is becoming increasingly erratic and withdrawn. When someone from her family feels cornered and stripped of their loved ones, they do not just cry in their room, they strike back. This makes every single lingering glance she shoots at Emma incredibly suspicious. It is not just a girl with a crush. It is a predator identifying a target. The writers are deliberately highlighting Emma and Gio's blossoming romance to serve as the catalyst for Charlotte's impending breakdown. Every sweet moment Emma shares with Gio is another drop of poison in Charlotte's mind. And that is exactly where the narrative threads start to weave together into a horrifying tale. We have to look at the history of how this show handles teen tragedy. They do not just throw it in for shock value, they build it meticulously. Charlotte's isolation, her betrayal by her parents, her dark heritage, and her unrequited fixation on Gio are all perfectly aligned to push her over the edge. If you ask me, we are watching the origin story of a villain, or perhaps the tragic end of a deeply broken young woman. The pieces are all on the board, and someone is about to make a fatal move. This leads us to the massive theory that could change everything we know about the current canvas. The big reveal that might explain the potential exit of the actress playing Charlotte. What if Charlotte's jealousy pushes her so far into the darkness that there is no coming back? My theory is that Charlotte is going to completely snap. She is not just going to confront Emma with harsh words or a high school rumor. I believe Charlotte is going to secretly acquire a weapon. Whether it is a knife from the mansion kitchen, a stolen gun from the police evidence room, or something she finds stashed away at Windermere, She is going to arm herself. Picture this scenario, guys. Charlotte stalks Emma to an isolated location, perhaps the boathouse or a quiet spot in the woods near the lake. She confronts Emma, her mind completely warped by jealousy and madness. She intends to eliminate the competition to make Emma disappear from Gio's life permanently. The tension reaches a boiling point. The weapon is drawn, and Emma is staring death in the face. It is the ultimate manifestation of her family's curse, playing out through Valentine's teenage daughter. But here is where the massive twist comes in. I do not think Emma is going to be the victim here. If we look at the heroic traits being established for Gio, remember, this is the same guy who just dove into a lake to save a drowning Drew. Without a second thought, he is poised to be the savior. My theory is that Gio will realize Emma is missing, track them down, and arrive exactly at the critical moment. He will see Charlotte brandishing the weapon and lunge forward to intervene. A desperate struggle ensues. It is Gio, Emma, and a completely unhinged Charlotte fighting for control of the weapon. In the chaos, amidst the screaming and the physical altercation, the weapon goes off or is plunged forward. But it does not hit Emma. It does not hit Gio. In a tragic, poetic twist of fate, the weapon turns back on Charlotte. The very instrument of violence she brought to destroy her rival ends up striking her down. Charlotte falls, critically wounded by her own hands, her own jealousy, and her own dark legacy. This would be a masterpiece of soap opera tragedy. It is the ultimate cautionary tale of allowing hatred and jealousy to. If Charlotte sustains life-threatening injuries or even loses her life in this chaotic struggle, it provides the perfect, albeit devastating, narrative exit for the actress. It takes the character out with a massive, unforgettable bang rather than a quiet departure to a boarding school. It proves that the darkness is a terminal illness for her family. If this theory is true, the aftermath will be nothing short of apocalyptic for Port Charles. Let us talk about the collateral damage, starting with Lulu. Lulu is already operating at a 10. She is furious at Carly for hiding Valentine. She is furious at Charlotte for lying to her for months, and she is clashing with Dante over custody and proposals. If she receives a phone call that her daughter is fighting for her life, or worse, gone forever because of a violent confrontation, Lulu will completely shatter. The guilt of pushing Charlotte away and being so focused on her anger toward Valentine will consume her alive. And what about Valentine? He is currently in Geneva, trying to expose Ross and secure his freedom so he can return to his daughter. If Valentine receives word that his beloved Charlotte, his entire reason for breathing, has fallen victim to the very darkness he tried so hard to protect her from, he will become an absolute monster. Valentine will not see this as a tragic accident. He will blame Emma. He will blame Gio. He will blame Lulu for not protecting her, and he will absolutely blame Carly and Anna for distracting him. We would see the return of the most ruthless version of Valentine we have ever witnessed. The ripple effects would tear the younger generation apart. Gio would be irreparably traumatized. This is a young man with a bright future in music, someone who just wanted to play the piano and enjoy his summer. Suddenly, he would be carrying the immense psychological burden of knowing a girl died or was critically injured while fighting over him, and that his physical intervention caused the fatal blow. The guilt would destroy his relationship with Emma, his music career, and his own sanity. Emma, too, would be forever changed. Her sweet, innocent legacy would be tainted by this horrific violence. Anna, who is already struggling with hallucinations of Peter and her own mental health demons, would have to investigate a crime scene involving her own granddaughter and Valentine's child. The conflict of interest, the emotional devastation, and the sheer horror of the situation would push Anna completely over the edge. The battle lines between the families would be drawn in blood. We also have to consider the legal ramifications. Dante, as a police officer and someone deeply connected to Lulu, would be caught right in the middle of this nightmare. Would Gio face charges for manslaughter? Would Emma be accused of pushing Charlotte? The police department, with Anna at the helm and Chase trying to prove his loyalty would be thrust into the most high-profile and emotionally charged investigation of the decade. Everyone involved would stand to lose absolutely everything. We may be looking at the beginning of something huge, guys. The writers are placing the pieces on the board with surgical precision. The isolation of Charlotte, the rise of Gio and Emma, the constant reminders of her dark family legacy, it may not be a coincidence. The truth could be closer than anyone realizes, and someone may not be ready for what is coming next. Remember, as of right now, there is no official confirmation that the actress is leaving or that Charlotte will meet this dark fate. But if you ask me, the writing is on the wall. The tension is building, the motives are hidden in plain sight, and the tragedy feels inevitable. Keep your eyes peeled on every interaction between these teens, because one wrong move could trigger an explosion that Port Charles will never recover from. Until next time, stay vigilant, because in this town, secrets never stay buried for long.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.